Hello, everyone. On 16th of June, actually from 16th to 19th of June, Saturn will be stationary. And after that, until 6th of November, Saturn will be retrograde. This is very serious. Always, of course, any movement which Saturn does is very important for us. So count it from 16th of June, Saturn will be retrograding. I will explain to you in which degree he's doing that, in which degree he becomes again direct, all these matters. But before that, what is the meaning of the retrograde motion of Saturn? First of all, as you know, retrograde doesn't mean that the planet literally is turning and moving backwards. This is just our perspective. This is what we see. The planet doesn't really move backwards, but we perceive the motion of the planet as such, and we also perceive the motion of the planet as slower. This is from our earthy perspective. Also, what is happening with the energy of Saturn when he turns retrograde? Of course, classically, it's very logical, to know retrograde, turning back, of course, is revisiting. Of course, every astrologer, every person will tell you that it is revisiting. Indeed, it is revisiting of what Saturn means. What is Saturn? Saturn is first of all, he's a very slow planet. You know, he stays in one sign approximately 2.5, 3 years. Secondly, you know, in the celestial hierarchy, in the planetary spheres, Saturn is on the last place. I'm not counting right now Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. So Saturn is having the highest hierarchy because he's highest on the sky. He also, since very ancient times, is responsible for our destinies. I would just remind you that in Babylon, in his incarnation as Ninurta, Saturn was the one who opened the gates for the big flood to come and to water the human beings. So he also saved the tables with the destinies of people from the bird, the giant bird, Abzu, which stole it. So you see, it's always about the game with our destinies. He decides. He's not the last decision maker. Everything obviously is done in accordance with highest hierarchy, because you have above the celestial sphere, above the planetary spheres, you have the stellar spheres, the fixed stars and the constellation, the zodiacal belt. Then you have the decanates, and then above you have already the nothingness, the God, the creation. So of course, Saturn is part of this harmony, celestial cosmic harmony. What I just told you is part of the Hermetic principles and the cosmology of the ancients. So, talking about the high hierarchy of Saturn, of course, and about him being the highest judge, the Lord of the Karma. Also, when he was known by the Greek and the Roman civilization, you know, Kronos, and later Saturn, he has to do with the time. So obviously he's very important. He is the judge, he's the Lord of time, he's the Lord of the destinies, he's just very important, and he's the wise one, and he's ruling agriculture, he's ruling, of course, building, he's ruling properties, he's ruling stones, he has immense rulership. Now he turns retrograde. It is revisiting, rewind, revisit, going back symbolically to revisit what he means. Knowledge, morals, time orientation, discipline. Oh, this is about revisit, but we know that. But what more? Now he also is malefic planet. Yes, we know what he's capable of giving us. We know how his lessons appear. Some of us say we love him because we understand his lessons, but still he's considered malefic. His lessons come in a very severe, sometimes for some people, depends of course how Saturn is positioned in your horoscope, but Saturn can bring desperation, can bring grief, this is about our karma. He's just serving us the what we cooked in our previous lifetimes. That's it. Okay, so speaking about all that, he's malefic. His direct motion, his classical direct motion is giving malefic results. In some exceptions, um, not. Also, when people reach this maturity, if you want, or really understand the lesson of morals, high morals, high soldier-like disciplines, such people do not really suffer from the energy and the karmic lessons of Saturn. So his direct motion is malefic, hard. When he turns retrograde, when he starts moving backwards, some ancients would say that his motion becomes more benevolent because this is a change of the course. It is like if now he was teaching us the lesson, the hard karmic way, now he turns back, he changes the approach towards us, and he comes more benevolent. Some Indian Vedic texts, I often say this to you because I still, to tell you honestly, I'm still analyzing that to see in the practical examples if he really, as retrograde, is better. Yes, I will tell you already with the distance of time and after seeing so many horoscopes, excuse me, I can tell you that indeed when retrograde, Saturn is capable of giving very good results: power, abundance, money, high positions, ranks in society. So indeed, yes, when retrograde, he can be more benevolent. Not for everyone. We should not, we should understand, and I have such video which is about whether Saturn is good or bad in your horoscope. Take a look at this video. It's easy to find it on my channel. Because if you have good Saturn, this would say that you learn the lessons of morals, time, discipline. Then Saturn in this lifetime will not really be harmful to you. Such Saturn will give you good father figure, would give you good position in society, would give you good morals, patience, discipline, and so on. So indeed depends on how Saturn is positioned in your horoscopes. Anyhow, Saturn now will be until 6th of November. Saturn will be considered more benevolent. I made my research not complete yet because this needs time. I saw examples of horoscopes of very well successful. Of course, we need to define success, but let's say, okay, successful in terms of the contemporary terminology of success. So I've seen successful people with retrograde Saturn. Thus, Saturn as retrograde is far from being malefic. Once again, brackets, it depends on how Saturn is positioned in your horoscopes. And if, let's say, you have bad Saturn, it depends on how far are you with the learning of the Saturn in lessons in your life. This is very important because, again, I will open a bracket. I will tell you something which maybe, I don't remember if I mentioned previously, but for me it's very important and I keep reminding it to myself. And I will tell you, here our neighbors, the Greeks, the ancient Greeks, they some of them, the ancient Greek civilizations were very interesting with their mythological heroes and gods and goddesses, but they had their sacred sanctuaries, sacred places where some of them were introduced into the mysteries. So they were initiated. They went through some special form of initiation into the mysteries. What were the mysteries? These were the secrets of this universe and death, because they would still fear death, by the way, at that time. So why were they introduced into the mysteries? This was not easy, and it was expensive at that time, not because they would pay for the procedure, but because this requires efforts and offerings. However, some of them really wanted to be initiated because with the knowledge, they wanted to overpower their horoscopes. Meaning, when you know, when you understand, when you have knowledge of your horoscope, then you should be able to, with your dose of free will, to overgrow these hard aspects in your horoscope. That's why knowing our horoscope in detail is of amazing value. So, saying this, I opened too large bracket. Anyhow, I'm closing. Let's say you have hard Saturn, but you understand its placement. You know what Saturn is bringing you. You know what Saturn will be bringing you now while he will be in sidereal Aquarius until late 2025. Then with this knowledge, you will already, with your intention and with your desire, you will change. You will um, you will you will actually apply the great lessons which Saturn actually would otherwise give you the hard way. So to know your horoscope is a great advantage. Anyhow, this is just to tell you that it's not such a big it's not really so dramatic if you find out that you have difficult Saturn in your horoscope, because with knowledge, with intention, with patience, you are able in this lifetime to improve that. So, speaking again about Saturn being retrograde, in terms of global influence, Saturn is the one who is very much related to finances, not because he will be bringing the abundance, but because he will be structuring the finances. He will be allowing the dose of finances for each person on earth. He will be the one who can introduce limitations or remove the limitations. Therefore, Saturn now when retrograde could be a little bit better and less limiting in terms of finances. Of course, this is part of greater cycle, which is already working towards changes in the financial system. So this is just one detail from this great cycle. Another important thing, Saturn is ruling properties, real estate, building. He is ruling also the kingship, the rulers, the highest institution in one country. And retrograde Saturn influencing them, this could be also more benevolent for them and their influencing on humans. However, again, we are in the middle of a very important great cycle, and these are just details within the cycle. And about revisiting ancient knowledge, revisiting what Saturn actually rules in the horoscope. And these are the 10th and the 11th houses of the horoscopes. These are our goals, highest aims, our social circle, our greatest plans. It could be a lot about that. And he rules everything which is very old and ancient history, ancient knowledge. It is revisiting. New things may come on the surface. This is very important. And now some details on where exactly Saturn is turning stationary retrograde. 13 degrees Aquarius. This is in the vicinity of the royal star Fomalhaut, which is in the 10 degree. And because the royal star Fomalhaut is having such great longitude, not longitude, the magnitude, within these 2-3 degrees, we feel very much the energy of the star Fomalhaut, the star of the spiritual guru, revisiting our spirituality, belief system, morals. Also, the 13 degrees Saturn, the stars there, let me tell you, this is there you have the swan, and the swan constellation. And also there you have people who are connected to, who work for the animals, people who are very benevolent. So this is emphasis on this, on the good degrees, very philosophical, very much about connection with nature. Also, these degrees give people who are very much like warriors, people who according to the ancients can be antichrists, meaning malefic for the humans. It is about revisiting also such malefic qualities, if you want. So it will be a lot about knowledge, revisiting belief system, highest goals, and so on. Later, on 6th of November, he becomes direct, temporary stationary, then direct, in the 6 degrees, again Aquarius. So as you see, he remains in sidereal Aquarius. He wouldn't go even for one day back into Capricorn. So these degrees are considered light. People which are born and with these degrees on ascendant or moon and sun there are very sincere, they are light, they have pure hearts. So Saturn rises in such degrees, which also is a good sign. Again, you see, this is something benevolent happening, and it is happening also forming sextile with Jupiter. And this is also good. Financially, this is fine. Again, you will be asking why, if there is such benevolent transit on the sky eventually, why we're living in such difficult times, why we are experiencing worldwide financial crisis. This is because in astrology, again, according to the Hermetic principles, the cosmic logics and organization is such that the cosmos has circular, cyclical nature. We live from in a cycle within cycle within cycle, and we're talking here about a smaller cycle, which matters. We will feel this properly, and I hope in a benevolent way. But we had major cycles which took place earlier, especially in 2020, cycles which have 2-3 cycles which have validity of more than 30 years. So this is why the global changes will be still taking place, and I'm talking about smaller cycles which will influence us in the meantime. So, ladies and gentlemen, this was my explanation on Saturn and his important retrograde motion, which is considered to be more benevolent than malefic. If you want to see how Saturn is positioned in your horoscope, you can contact me. I have this special reading, which is only on Saturn, on my website. In the meantime, if you have any questions or comments, you're always very welcome to do, and soon I will be telling you exactly about this. Actually, these cycles that we're in. I will give more proper explanation. This requires detail, because I keep receiving these questions. Why? If we have Jupiter now in Aries and he's so powerful and he's so well placed in Aries, why then we had all these global events, all of them malefic? Well, I will be explaining this properly. And well, see you very soon. Bye bye.